Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DiChiara coming to you live from downtown Flushing, New York, once again for another amazing episode of Joe DiChiara Presents. And if you've noticed, I haven't even been using my PowerPoint stuff to hide behind anymore. I just don't have the time. This is unbelievable, folks. Yeah, I knew 2020 was strange, but the way it's ending is even stranger. So do me a favor. If you're watching live, give me a hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay, because my VA tells me that it helps our analytics. So I just try to do what I'm told when it comes to stuff that I know nothing about. And it makes life simple. It makes my business simple. And if you don't know me, I am, like I said, my name is Joe DiChiara. I am a CPA, entrepreneuraholic. The way I make money is by doing simple bookkeeping for small businesses. We do tax preparation. We incorporate people, and unfortunately, we handle a lot of tax problem resolutions. So if that is part of who you are, if you're a small business owner, that's who we target. We actually target, we do business with the smallest of small businesses, but we do masterminds and workshops and webinars and really cool stuff with all kinds of people. And this is part of the bedrock nation, I call it. And this is where I get to vent and offer my experience of working with tens of thousands of businesses and individuals, and recognizing the trends. And I got to tell you, folks, what is going on now? It's like I couldn't even predict it. This is like we're in uncharted territory when it comes to government administration, and it's not just the IRS, folks. So when you put your thinking caps on and you start, looking at your business and realizing that your business really starts with you and your mindset and your heart and all of that stuff. And for me, what I had to do was I had to dig down, into my fears and face them and all of that. And I had coaches, and I still have a coach, and I do that, but that's not how I make my money. You see, I realized that. But I realized that what I went through, I'm an entrepreneur, just like any other entrepreneur. I might be a CPA with all of this experience, and I know stuff that a lot of people don't know because they simply didn't go through what I went through, and they can't possibly know what I know. So that's my niche, the setting up the business. But when it came to scaling my business and running a business, I faced the same exact obstacles as every other person, and I struggled. And what I learned, folks, is what they didn't teach me in CPA school. They don't teach you in accounting. They don't teach you in high school. They don't teach you in college. About business. About succeeding in business, simply succeeding in business. They don't tell you that your fears, your mindset, or maybe they did, and I just didn't listen. I don't know. But one of the biggest fears that I know that people have, and it might be a label, it might, and I might be wrong, but most people fear the IRS. They're afraid when you talk about taxes and the IRS, it doesn't make you feel good. I mean, give me a thumbs up if you can relate to that. I'm a CPA. I get letters from the IRS just like everyone else. And I'm not saying, oh, there might be a check in here for me. That hasn't happened in over 30 years. I haven't gotten a check from the IRS. So every time I get a letter, it's either nothing, it's bad news, or it's something that I got to take care of. So when you get a letter from, let's call it the machine, because that's what we're dealing with now, folks. It's not just the IRS. And I think that's the first point that I want to make. The IRS actually isn't the problem. They actually do a pretty damn good job considering the enormity of the task. Okay. The problem is the machine, the automation. It used to be that I dealt with people. When there was a tax audit, I dealt with people. When there was a notice and there was a problem, if I had to, we wrote a letter. If the letter didn't work, I got to talk to somebody. Now I'm talking to a machine. I'm not talking to people. And when I do get through to people, they're not experienced IRS people. I know they're not. They're like rookies. They're rookies. They were probably trained online to work from home. So this is what we're dealing with, folks. So a couple of stories to back up what I'm talking about. Today I got an email, a client, so they're under strict instructions that whenever they get a letter, whether it looks like a bill, whatever, they just take a picture of it, they text it to me. So today I get a letter, I'm like, what is this? And so it was like a different kind of letter asking for different kind of information. And here's the short story. The IRS was asking my client to verify his deceased mother's identity so that they could process her tax return. So, that's kind of strange. Okay. So it's all about this identity theft thing. I understand that. So, and I've gone through this with a bunch of clients now. So they randomly, like, just for, whatever. So when a client gets a PIN number, we have to save that. So actually, when I file their tax return, I need the PIN number to verify that they're who they are. Simple. So I said, well, okay, so we have to verify, so there's a procedure. The letter gives you instructions. So we have to verify your mom's identity, which he tried to do. So he didn't follow my instructions. He actually tried to save me some time. He's a friend of mine. So Scotty, if you're watching, I appreciate that. So anyway, so he calls the IRS and he does exactly what they ask him to do. And because his mom is deceased, it's an estate. So he needs a special form from the estate. And he must have spent, he spent 45 minutes because the FedEx guy came as soon as the IRS answered. So that was a whole nother thing. He had to put the IRS on hold. So we thought that was funny. So he comes back and they say, well, listen, you have to get, the declaration from the estate that so that it authorizes you to talk to me, because it's like a power of attorney. So because his mom's not here, they can't talk to her. They got to talk to somebody. So he said, okay, well, what's the actual situation? Like, did your mother have a big estate? Like, was there like money due, or was she due a refund? And he said, no. They filed the return. She didn't owe any money. I mean, she was retired. Everything was paid up. The IRS didn't owe her. She didn't owe the IRS. So he said, well, that makes this a non-issue. This is we wasted all of this time because the machine, the IRS, is looking to clear its computer files. And they see, okay, and the program is flawed. Okay, so that's the first thing you got to know. The program is flawed. It's got all kinds of flaws in it. So the machine says, oh, this person did not verify their PIN number, and we can't close this account. So the machine wants to close out the account. So what does it do? The machine spits out the letter. It goes to my client, and he says, oh my God, the IRS is after us. What do we do? And this is the tip of the iceberg, folks. This is the tip of the iceberg, because the machine that was flawed to begin with, COVID did a knockout punch. I mean, this is unprecedented. They don't even know how. There is no fix. There is no fix for this. So what we are going to endure over the next 3 to 5 years easily is a relentless junk mail. Let's call it the junk mail period of the IRS. And so let's go back to, it's not just the IRS. So I know I pick on the IRS because that's the phrase everybody, it's the IRS. The state and local governments are 100 times worse, people. 100 times worse. And I've talked about this before, and I might eventually get in trouble because I'm calling California to the mat here. The state of California has sent 4 of my clients penalty notices saying that they did not file their tax returns, or they did not file the extension, and they didn't pay, and they owe interest and penalties on top of the ridiculous $800 fee. I mean, it's bad enough that you got to pay $800 just because you're doing business in California. And then they say, well, you didn't pay us. Well, all 4 of them, all 4 had confirmation of payment. They have proof of payment, and I have documented proof of acceptance through my tax program. So, 1 is strange. It slipped through the cracks. 2 is something might be wrong. 4, I don't do that many California clients. It's less than 10. Less than 10. So do the math, people. So the California now is spitting out notices because it's broken. The machine is broken, and they're not going to fix it. They don't have any incentive to fix it right now because there's so many other things that are more important. So if you are a small business owner, folks, you are at a great, great disadvantage. And I'll tell you why. A one-person company has to open that same letter and spend the same amount of time as a big corporation that has an administrative assistant or an intern that will spend the same amount of time as you at a fraction of what you need to make to run your business. And that's what the real big divide is, people. That's what separates the rich people from the poor people. It's as simple as that. It's like, so if you want to succeed, part of it, I get all the mindset stuff. It's needed. People need a coach. They need a mastermind. Okay. And I participate in all of that. But when it comes to the back end, the accounting stuff, I mean, I don't see how anybody could possibly survive without the right tax person behind them. And I'm not saying me. There's only so many people that I can handle. Thankfully, I'm blessed, and my business is thriving. We don't have a problem, an issue with getting new clients. But the truth is, there's only so many new clients that we can handle. So, the bottom line here is, the message is, listen, be careful when you get these letters. You don't just pay them. Don't just pay them, because that's what most people do. Because if you have the fear, the anxiety, you may rather pay it to relieve the stress and the anxiety than face it. And I guess that might be my the story that I'm going to stick to tonight is, listen, you got to face your fears. And the IRS is there. And if you're going to stick your head and make believe like you're going to try to hide from them and the government and all of this, it ain't going to happen. It just ain't going to happen, folks. So if you want to run a business, if you're serious about it, you need to get these pieces in place. You need to stop letting the machine run your business. You got to work within the machine. Okay, that's the story. Okay, the machine just wants information. It just wants information. You give it the right information, it's happy, it'll leave you alone. And that's my story tonight, and I'm sticking to it. God bless. And over and out. I probably won't see you again until after Christmas. So I might just say Merry Christmas tonight. I might do a surprise thing tomorrow. I don't know, but thank you and good night.